Good morning.
Hello,
I'm Jen,
I'm Kimberly.
and this is that Vegan Morning Show.
Good morning.
Happy Monday, Kimberly.
Happy Monday, Jen. Happy post Super Bowl Monday, right? Like this like a holiday for some people. My mom told me some companies have the school version of the school equivalent of a delayed opening for people the Monday after Super Bowl.
Wow, that's really generous
Right.
because I never had that.
Me neither.
It really is. Even if it's a team I don't care about, I still have to watch it. Right? It's
Mhm.
like I have to see, first of all, I don't want to miss out on what everyone else is going to be talking about, right?
Right.
But it's the commercials and the halftime show, and then of course for me it's really just a great excuse to eat food. So.
That proved to be the same for me as well yesterday. I tried out some new things that I've never made before, and they
What
both
you
came
make?
out really well. So I made potato skins. Um,
Mhm.
and it really, I guess, wound up being more of like a twice baked potato because I didn't have like vegan bacon or sour cream. So it just wound up being very crispy potatoes. It was so good.
Mm.
That I scooped out the middle, mashed it up with some soy milk and some vegan cheese, and then baked it again. And yeah, I've never had a potato so crispy before. And it was just like sending me, as the kids say. Uh, and then I was inspired also by a couple of different recipes I'd seen online, like leading up to the Super Bowl. And I kind of pulled together my own like cheesy, meaty dip. And I
Mm.
put pasta in it because I was also inspired by a chili mac recipe that I'd come across.
Mm.
So I was like, kind of like a hamburger helper type thing with like some impossible meat. So it wound up being impossible meat with like a can of tomatoes and chilies, then fresh jalapenos, covered in vegan cheese. So I cooked the impossible meat and the jalapenos like in my cast iron skillet on the stovetop, and a ton of seasoning, which I make this Mexican blend from Tony Okamoto's Plant Based on a Budget. I really love it. It's like
Ooh.
I always have the separate ingredients, so I make it in like in a previous chili powder uh, bottle.
Container.
Anyway, geez. I'm still thinking about the food. And then once it was cooked, I put the cheese on top and put it in the oven for
Mm.
like 12 minutes. Oh, it was so good. And we dipped tortilla chips in it. And the pasta, like it turns out I didn't actually need the pasta in it. It was very like good without it, but it was also good with it. So a real win all around.
That all sounds really good to me. And first of all, you can't go wrong with potatoes stuffed with cheese.
Right?
And then
Agreed.
your combination with or without pasta, like I would be happy also with that. That all sounds so good. I usually make exciting things for the Super Bowl, but I was lazy. My husband's a 49ers fan, so we were very sad that they didn't make it. They almost did, but the Seahawks ruined it. And so we wanted them to lose, but that didn't happen. But we didn't really care either way. I was going to originally, I had been doing this cookbook review series, and then I was going to like make a bunch of recipes for that, and that was going to be dinner. But then
Mhm.
when I was looking at the recipes, I was like, oh, there's stuff I have to prepare beforehand. Like there's a spice blend, and then there's like this pureed lemon where you take the whole lemon and
Oh,
puree it
yeah.
in a blender, like all these things. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do some of the pre-prep stuff.
There you go.
And I made some bonza pasta for dinner, and my husband made his own thing for dinner. And that was that.
Okay.
I wish we made what you did.
Yeah, it was really good. I wish you could have had some.
Next time.
Yes. You know,
Oh,
I am very loosely a football fan, and just like I have my team, the Eagles, but I gotta say, it and I feel like I'm okay to do this because, like I said, I'm loosely a football fan, but like the Seahawks, so not only are they owned by a woman who contributes to their local community handily, I
mhm.
also looked up when they were, at the end when they were presenting the trophies and stuff, they kept talking about the 12s, and I was like, "What is this? What are the 12s?" I looked it up, and how cute is this? In 1984, either 81 or 84, they decided to retire the jersey number 12 because they felt, and this was in honor of the fans, because they felt like the fans are the 12th man. They're supporting the
Aw,
11 players on the field. And I was just like, oh my goodness, that's so much love.
that
I just was
is.
so moved by that. And it's so cute. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that just because it was so nice.
That is nice. And that is really cool. I did not realize the Seahawks were owned by a woman.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like, it's nice to hear about these other types of things. It's so funny when it comes to football. I always joke around with my husband and my son. I'm always like, it looks like they're just running and falling all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
And that's how I explain football. They run and then they fall.
Accurate.
Yeah. It's a simple explanation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really cool. And yeah, I'm not, football's more of my husband's thing, but I support his team through marriage. So
Yeah. That's very kind of you.
yeah, isn't it? So speaking of entertainment,
Mhm.
you brought up a very interesting topic for us to cover. Did you want to kind of intro it?
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, so today we are talking about kind of seeing animal cruelty depicted on television and in movies because it is so normalized that it
Mhm.
happens a lot. And I think because it's normalized and it's emotional, I feel like a lot of writers and directors use it because they know that it's going to achieve a goal. Most
Mhm.
people, even people who aren't vegan, do not want to see animals harmed. And so when it happens on TV or in the movies, it creates a visceral reaction. It gets something out of the viewer. So now they're more invested in whatever it is they're watching. So if it's a series, maybe they're going to keep coming back because they've had this emotional reaction, or they'll see it again in the movie theater if it's a movie, or buy the movie, like there's like
Mm.
this attempt to make a reaction out of things. In horror movies, it's like sometimes so graphic, and then it doesn't just create like an emotional sadness. There's like anger that can come out of it, and so then you're really invested in like seeing the bad guy taken down. um and so I just wanted to chat today about like, how do we as vegans manage this, because it's not going to go away. So
Yeah.
do you find out ahead of time? Do you hide your face and close your ears when you see that it's coming? Do you leave the theater or walk out of your living room? Do you fast forward? Like, how do you protect yourself? So, Jen, how do you manage this?
Great question. And I have an easy answer because it goes for me, it goes beyond animal cruelty. I've always been sensitive with any type of suffering on TV or movies, whether it's with humans or animals. And my husband always laughs because before we go to a movie, if it's like rated R,
Mhm.
I will go to the parents' guide to preview where I need to cover my eyes.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, yeah, if you can if you just Google, movie parents guide, like there'll be like a website that pops up. I can't remember off the top of my head specifically what it even could be parents guide. I don't know. But if you do that, it'll list like all the different things, bad words, all that stuff. For me, it's about like the violence, how much is it there, or any other type of suffering. And it'll list, what's going on with with animals too. So it'll list all the things that are disturbing. So I like to prepare myself in advance for things like that. Now, it doesn't have to be a rated R film, right, to show these things, or a TV show to show these things. And so, yeah, it can bother me, even if it's something as a family sitting at a dinner table ripping up a lobster, right?
Yeah.
Or crab legs, right? To other people, that is not seen as anything but just feasting on a meal. But for me, like, I'm just thinking of the animal, right? This being who, is now has this horrible fate. So for me, it goes beyond what even like things happening to animals that would upset people who aren't vegan. It can go even to like dinner scenes. If it's like, you're seeing the whole animal being feasted on. So those are some of my experiences and thoughts. What about you, Kimberly?
Yeah. So I do the same thing. I didn't know about this parents guide, so definitely gonna check that out too. And I do this with books as well, because there are, certain things I don't want to read about in books too. There's an incredible website that I use all the time, and it's called Does the Dog Die?
Oh,
Yeah. And there's an
you
app
told me
for
about
it
this a
too.
long time ago.
Yeah, it's been in the works for a long time. They keep building and expanding it. And it started off with it's called emotional spoilers. That's what they're handling there. And it started off where it was like, in the movie, does the dog die? And more often than not, right, the answer is yes. But not only do you find out does the dog die, it will tell you the timestamp. So if you're watching at home, you know when to fast forward, or if someone else is watching with you and for some reason they don't mind watching it, you know when to leave the room or close your eyes and your ears. And they've expanded it now to everything. So somebody like you is like, I don't even want to see people suffering. There are all kinds of categories of different types of suffering, different kinds of abuse. There's even triggers where people, maybe getting upset if they see someone vomit or something like that. There's even timestamps for movies and TV shows if it happens. If something like that happens. And so they've really expanded it to kind of touching on any emotion, but in the animal piece specifically, now it's not just like, does the dog die? Does an animal die? And those are two questions that are in all of them. It's also, does a cat die? Is an animal harmed? Is an animal lost? And so it is a horse involved. And so, all these movies that take place during certain times, people will be riding horses. Like, do you not want to see that? It'll tell you. And then, okay, I'm not even going to watch this movie.
Yeah.
But I've used it for books too. Like, and I don't want to spoil the book, so I won't tell you what they are, but there was a book that was really popular, and it was like kind of like a fantasy, but written by someone who doesn't always write fantasy. And I was like really interested in it. It sounded great. And one of the main characters is a dog. So I went to the website to find out, does the dog die? Because I'm not going to read this book if I get emotionally invested in the dog dies. And so I was able to read the book thanks to that website. And it's accurate. That's the thing. Like, all the cruelty that people are capable of so far anyway, and I'll knock on the proverbial wood, people are not going onto that website and inaccurately representing what's happening. So you can trust it. You're able to know what to avoid. And yeah, so that's my first thing. So sometimes I will still watch the movie if I know a timestamp where I can fast forward through that piece. And then there are other times where I don't. I make that choice, like it's just not worth it to me to know that this is going to happen, and I just don't want that in my life right now in form of entertainment. Have you ever, and I'm thinking specifically of an experience I've had, but have you ever been watching something and they treat an animal a certain way, or they react to something about an animal a certain way, and no matter how much you were enjoying it, you just can't go back and watch it again?
That's a good question. I can't think of anything specifically, but I don't know, have you ever seen the movie Cloud Atlas?
No.
Okay. Well, I read the book first. And before so they did change a lot of things, but there is a scene where something does happen to a dog. And when they actually were showing that event taking place, I remember I was like, you know what? I'm just putting my pillow up because I bet, and they do it. I mean, there's some hard things to see in that movie in general, but it is a really good movie. It's a quick thing. But I knew it was coming, and it's like I had my ears
Yep, I know.
I was like, I know this is going to happen. And now I've seen the movie a few times. So like, I know there's some other things that I don't look at that have nothing to do with it, but things happening to people. But because I know where it's going to happen, I'm able to like prepare myself for it.
Mhm.
Even if it's a CGI animal, for example, my husband and I are rewatching the show Lost. I don't know. Have you seen the show Lost?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So I rewatched it once, like 6 years ago with my son Joseph, but Ellie hasn't seen it since it was originally out. So we're watching it together, and there's a polar bear, and they shoot at, and I still didn't look.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was a fake polar bear, but still, in the story, it's a real polar bear.
Right. Yep.
So, whether it's CGI or not, I don't want to look at it.
I agree with that. Yes. Like that doesn't make a difference to me either. Yeah, because like in the movies, right? We know that they're not actually killing the animal even when they're using a real animal. So yeah, it does feel the same when you're watching it, whether it's, a real dog they've brought in or a CGI dog or, so yeah, I would agree with that it really is just as harmful and hurtful to see that happening to a CGI animal.
But I think CGI animals, and especially I think this is an area where AI can be really useful.
Mm,
Because I was reading a little bit about how animals are treated in the film industry. And
yeah.
PETA has like a link, and I was just reading up about that. And even though an animal's not maybe actually being harmed, they're still having to go through like food deprivation, right? They get rewarded with treats,
Mhm.
right? They're not able, they're basically being expected to act a certain way on command,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
so this is something that I haven't been thinking about as much in my vegan journey.
Mhm.
But something like it was like when you brought this topic, and I was just reading about that, even though that wasn't specifically what we're covering, it just made me think about that, and how this is an area where AI, it could be very useful, because why put a real being through that
Mhm.
when you can have a realistic depiction. So even if it's not suffering or not, they're still going through stuff. And so
Mhm. Yeah.
um I think this is one area where AI could be really beneficial. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, that's really interesting. when you think about that, yes, they're on set, like you said, they're being deprived of food so that they're motivated by the treats, and they're being exploited.
Yeah.
They're not choosing, the dog, the horse, the cat. Like, they don't show up and go, "Hey, I'm here to work today. Thanks, looking forward to that paycheck." They
Yeah.
just get brought to a place, and then
Right.
they're expected to do things. And so they are being exploited, and yeah, we should be finding other alternatives. I think there's a documentary, and I think it's called No Animals Were Harmed, or No
Oh.
Animals Were Harmed in the Making of This Film. If
Oh, to look
I'm
that up.
making that up, I apologize, but if it's real, we'll find the link and we'll put it in the show notes.
I'm sure there must be some kind of documentary out there.
Right. Like, if that's not real yet, am I thinking of it because I'm supposed to create it? No, I'm just
Maybe you
kidding.
should. You got all the time in the world with all the other projects you're doing.
Exactly. Why not produce a film? Yeah. So kind of going back to the question that I had asked you before, it came up because JP and I had been watching this show, and it was a comedy. This was like a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
And so there was like zero expectation that there would be, like, I didn't even think to look it up about the show. It wasn't like we weren't watching as episodes were released, so there was history out there.
Mhm.
I didn't even think to look it up because it's a comedy. And then, something happens, and then there are jokes made about a dog's death, and like
Hmm.
really not like gallows humor, not kind of, oh, this is how the family is dealing with this death. It was it so much felt like a throwaway, like, like hilarious that this happened. And like, we had been really into the show, and we both looked at each other and we were like, nope, we're done with this. And we never went back to it, because it's like, we don't want to support someone who thinks that that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What a stick in the mud. But I like being the stick in the mud that way. I think it's
You know
important.
you know what though, Kimberly? I find a lot of value in your stick in the mud moments because
Thanks.
it's important to think about things and not just go around mindlessly about life, right?
Yeah.
Like, I learned a lot about fireworks from you, for
Oh,
example, right? Like, things I didn't think about with these things. And so it's important, I feel, to be aware of these things. And again, it's like what we've talked about before, right? We live in a non-vegan world. So it's hard to be perfect across the board with every little thing.
yeah.
But it's about, I think if the world was just more intentional and more kind, uh,
Mhm.
you know, it would be a better place. People, and people wouldn't find things like that humorous, right?
Right.
There's comedy, and then there's
Yeah.
like not
Right.
respecting life type of a
Mhm.
thing, right? Like,
Right.
not everything is a joke, and there's a lot of context with things too that I feel that are important. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching a a morning show on the weekend that covers like different stories, and I won't say specifically what they are in here, but they covered a story. They covered different things, and they did a story about bear hunting,
Mm.
and they were interviewing this hunter, and they were showing them going hunting, and I'm just like, how is this a feel good story?
Right.
And the person was just talking about how he raised his son to do this, and his son's like now 20, and they were
Mhm.
just showing it as like this wonderful thing, being one with nature. There was a couple times I was just horrified, you know
Yeah.
and I stayed watching it because I wanted to be aware of just, what people think and feel, and
Mhm.
just, you know, it was kind of like, they're not doing anything wrong. They're, they're living off the land.
Mm.
Being one with
Ooh.
nature. Like there's other ways to be one with nature than, stalking it and murdering it. Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it was just, I was like very upset for like a couple hours later
Yeah.
because I mean, bears are cute. I mean, I feel bad if anything happens, but
Mhm.
just seeing them hunting bears just was really upsetting.
Yeah. Yeah. As a New Jersey resident who lives in bear country, who in my last home constantly had to clean up garbage because the bears were getting into it like nightly almost. Um, and like there have been bear hunts here the last few years. There was a break for a while, but then, they've been back for a while. And I have a lot of thoughts that we don't have time for today. Um,
Maybe this could be a future episode
I think so.
because they
Yeah.
do this with deer also,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
we invaded their space.
Yes. Yup.
But there's this human entitlement.
Mhm.
Again, whole other show topic.
Yes. I wrote it down so we don't forget.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, and I know we weren't going to talk about being graphic on this, and I tried to not get too graphic, but it just came to my mind, and I felt that it was just very important that even
Yeah.
something as this, show that just shows different types of stories.
Mm. Uh-oh. Okay. Um, I think we've lost Jen, but that's okay because we were wrapping up anyway. Should she come back, we'll end the show with her. But yeah, so we'd love to know. Tell us in the comments, even if you're watching the replay. How do you handle this? Did you know about Does the Dog Die? Did you know about the Parents Guide that Jen mentioned? Do you use either of those? Do you just not watch movies or television that could involve animals? Like, give us how you handle it, and share your stories. We always want to hear um, everything that you have to offer too. So tell us your ideas, tell us how you manage it. We'd love to know. This week, Jen always asks, like, what do we have going on? And this week I've got a new podcast episode. Hi, Jen. I was just
Hi.
wrapping us up.
Thank you. I lost internet randomly.
No worries. I was just wrapping us up talking about, asking people to leave comments about how they manage all of the things we chatted about. And then I was going to close out. So I was talking about how I've got a new podcast episode with Did You Bring the Hummus out today with Pragya Thakur, who I was lucky enough to meet through Ethos. And you've interviewed Pragya as well.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure that there are links in the show notes if you want to expand and like check out me and Jen interviewing the same lady on 2 different platforms. Pragya is amazing, and it was fantastic to chat with her. So and I've got a meditation going tonight, so you can find out all the things that I'm doing on didyouBringTheHummus.com. Jen, what do you have going on this week?
First of all, I just want to say everyone needs to go sign up for your meditations.
Thank you.
If I had more availability, I would attend them. I did go last week and it was so good. And so if you have a moment on a Monday or Wednesday, depending on when Kimberly has them, you should go.
Thanks.
Yeah, what do I have going on? Well, I got some interviews coming up. I'm also going to be interviewed on someone's podcast this week. So I'll be sharing all of that information when it's all out and available. I'm trying to get my cookbook review done. I'm doing the How Not to Die cookbook. So my goal is to finish recording recipes today so I can post that on Wednesday. And I'm really having fun doing cookbook reviews because I love to buy cookbooks and I like the idea of all the things I could make with the cookbooks,
Mm-hmm.
but then they just sit on my shelf.
And they look pretty. They look pretty on
They
each
do
shelf.
look pretty and they're fun to look at. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make stuff with them and share it with the world.
Excellent. I look forward to the next one.
Thank you. And with that, we're on time.
Look at that. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for bringing up this topic, Kimberly. It went into interesting directions of even future topics.
Yeah, I love it.
Me too. All right, everyone. I hope you have a great week. We'll see you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.